Hello and welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, everybody. I'm your host, Nicole, and we are here continuing with our profiles series, and we are moving on to the 5-1. Oh my goodness, it is a big episode. So why are we doing this? I wanted to actually call this out. I should have been saying this the entire time through the series, but I'm going to say it now, that even if I know a lot of people are going to listen to their profile. So if you're a 5-1, you're going to listen to this episode, and you might not listen to the others, but you should at least listen to the ones that have to do with your line, so you can hear the difference between what's different about a 5-1 versus a 2-5 or a 5-2. That differentiation is how you start to understand what makes you special. And that is honestly what a lot of what human design is about, is to tell you how your process is different. How you being you is the greatest gift that you can give to this world. That you were put here, made this way, for a very specific and unique purpose. That purpose is laid out in your incarnation cross. It's kind of in there, and it's something that as you operate as yourself, and it can only come out if you're operating as yourself, meaning if you are still conditioned, or if you are still playing small in areas where you're meant to play big, if you're holding back some natural gifts that you have, then that purpose won't emerge in the way that it's meant to. So by living through your design is how you get to live that purpose. But you were made on purpose. You were made just like this. If you have a split definition, God didn't forget one of those gates by accident. It was intentional. You're meant to feel different things and have wisdom about other people, about other things. Nothing was left out. Nothing is missing. Nothing is too much. You're here to understand yourself and to be who you are. And that is the contribution that each of us is here to make in this world. You're here to make a very specific contribution. And you can't do that if you're copying somebody else, if you're feeling like the way that you are is too much or you're not enough. You are meant to feel certain things, and you are meant to put out certain things. And that's at the heart of what profile shows us. It shows us this is a key aspect that shows us how we are meant to show up. And honestly, what the world needs from us. The world needs something different from a 5-1 than it does from a 2-4. The world needs something different from a 6-2 than a 1-3. These are different people, even if they have lots of similarities in their chart. So we're going to dive in further today. We're going to go into the 5-1 Heretic Investigator. This is the first step into our transpersonal destinies, and it's the first time we're seeing the personality 5 line, the 5 line in the front. We're going to talk about in this episode, we're going to talk about the projection field of the 5. We're going to talk about that a little bit differently than we did in the 2-5 and the 3-5 profiles that we already discussed in this series. I do suggest you listen to those episodes because it'll give you even more clarity on the differences in how these things show up, whether it's personality or unconscious, and whether you have it mixed with something different. Do you have it mixed with a 2 or a 1 or a 3? Okay? So this is how we start to understand things a little bit better. And we're going to dive into the 5 in a lot of ways because we're dealing personality 5 now. This is the thing that's leading this particular profile. So we're going to talk about what it really means to be a 5-1 profile out in the world and what you are to others and how you find your purpose as a 5-1, that unique process that only a 5-1 has. And before we start with this episode, I do want to call out, we have a contest going on right now. If you love this show, if you love this series that we are putting on, if this really spoke to you and helped you understand your profile, share it on Instagram. Take a little screenshot right now, share it on your Instagram stories, say what you loved about it, and tag me. I'm at Nicole Lano Official. If you share, and every time you share, you can share more than once throughout this series, you get an entry into winning a human design reading here on the show. You come on, you can have me read your chart for you, or you can ask me questions, or we can do a combination of both. Christy Wild did this a while ago. She was our last winner the last time we ran this contest. And we kind of did a combination of the two. And it was a really, really powerful, awesome session that she and I did together. So go check out that episode if you want to hear what that was like. But all you have to do to win that is to share and tag me. That's your entry. And then we will announce the winners at the end of this series. So after this series wraps up in May, we will announce the winner, and then you will be sent a link to book your call, and we get to dive into your design together. Super fun. The other announcement that I have is that we have a new course that is out, a new program that's out. It's called Content by Design. If you are loving this series, if you're loving profile, and you want to know how to blend profile and your type with your business, specifically around writing content, we have created this amazing course that has your type and profile lessons. We even go into some overview about what aura means and how that works, really letting you know why human design has an effect on your business and how it can, to both make you more productive and in flow around your content, and also magnetizing that audience that we want to attract. We also have workbooks and integration materials. It's really a comprehensive course that we've put together for you, and it's only $33. If you're interested in that, simply DM me the word content on Instagram. I'm at Nicole Lano Official. We'll send you the details there, or go to nicolelano.com/content, and you can get the details right there on the website. All right, let's dive in to the 5-1 profile. I've been waiting for this one, and I think you probably know why. The 5-1 is my profile, and I love my profile. I love being a 5-1. And that is saying something, because that is absolutely not how I started out. In fact, I hated being a 5-1 when I first read about it. When I first started learning about it, I was like, anything but that one. Please don't let it be that one. Please, there's got to be something wrong. I checked the time on my birth certificate a bunch of times. I was like, 11 a.m., is that really exact? Probably was a few minutes off, thinking it would change something. It does not. I am right smack dab in the middle of the 5-1 territory. No couple of minutes here or there, or even a swing of like 20 minutes changed anything. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm here for. Okay. And I wasn't looking for it to be different because I didn't see the truth in it. That was not where the inspiration came from. I just didn't like it. I just didn't feel, it felt hard, and it felt sad, and it felt really confronting in so many ways. And isn't that interesting when we're confronted with something like that? I think that that's one of the most powerful things about human design, is that it is confronting. That we do have to look at some things that are inconvenient, that are difficult, that challenge us to look at our process, to look at our life, and possibly see it differently. Now, I know that what we're talking about with the 5-1, let me just talk a little bit more about my experience with it. So as a 5-1, when I first started, like I said, I hated it. I was not happy about it. I saw the truth in it immediately. And something deep down in me said, like, yeah, this is right. But it also sounded a bit like a death sentence, the way that I was reading it at that time, the way that I was listening to the information that was being delivered. The projection field, the transpersonal karma, all of these things, practicality, people who are close to you, you can't have influence on them. I heard a lot of things that sounded so definitive, seemed like such closed doors, and I really don't look at that like that anymore. That's not how I see it. But what it did do was allow me to look through my life and see things with greater clarity. The relationships that I've had, personal, professional, romantically. It allowed me to notice certain things. The projection field was huge. That was one of the things that I really didn't want to look at. I did not want to have. It was like, no, I don't want that. You could keep that. But when I looked at it, I was like, no, the projection field is very real. And it helped me understand my relationship with people and why things happen maybe the way that they happen. Why I have this kind of thing that happens with people, and how I was dealing with it personally, that was actually hurting me over and over and over again, and making me feel like something was wrong with me, making me feel sad, making me not trust people, causing me to hide. And by working with my 5-1 profile, I really credit that with kind of my whole journey. I mean, obviously, knowing I'm a manifesting generator, emotional authority, all of those things are at the core. And then I start adding the other bits of my design on there, and I'm like, oh, I really get who I am. And I get how to live in my potential instead of in my shadow. That's powerful. And I'm going to credit the 5-1 piece for me as being the number one thing. This is the number one thing that helped me really see, not just see what my potential is, but understand it so that I could work with it and actually every day work and get closer to my potential and really see what I'm here for, what my purpose is. So let's talk about that. We are now out of the personal destinies. We are out of the juxtaposition destiny, that one with the 4-1. We are now in the transpersonal destiny. 5s and 6s in the personality line, 5-1, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3, transpersonal destinies. These are very, very different purposes and different life plans than a personal destiny, and certainly different than the juxtaposition. Why? Because what we're talking about with transpersonal destiny is we're talking about karma. Now, I don't want to get into good karma, bad karma. It doesn't mean that you have evil things that you did in past lives or anything like that. It's not about that. But it is about the fact that everybody has the ability to be a stranger of consequence in your life, and you have the ability to be a stranger of consequence in other people's lives. Our destiny, when you're transpersonal, has to do with other people. Every person that we have contact with has some purpose in our life. We have karma with them, and we are here to clean it up. Those personal destiny people, they're making the karma now. They're doing their thing, focused on themselves, really, really and I don't mean selfish in a bad way, but they are very focused on themselves. They're focused on, what do I have to do? What do I have to learn? What do I have to accomplish? What's my thing? And we are over here being like, every person I have a relationship with energetically. There's something deeper going on. It isn't about just my process in this life. It is about my process in relation to other people. And in order for me to live out my purpose, I must interact with other people. I must look deeper at the relationships that I have, or I will miss the whole thing. So other people are essential to us living out our purpose as we were designed to be. Okay? So that's the difference between personal and transpersonal destiny. We have relationship karma. So I look at it like every client I have, my parents, my sister, my cousins, my friends, my grandparents, my kid, parents in the PTA, everybody I have contact with, there's something there. We have some sort of energetic connection. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in my life at all. And by looking at things that way, what this did for me, I think the big distinction for me was it helped me understand that, and this has to do with the projection field as well, because that's really what the projection field does. The projection field draws people into us. That's what the 5-line projection field is. People see us, they're kind of seduced by our mysterious nature because there is some sort of thin veil over us where people are like, I get them, but I don't really get them. I want to get closer. I want to know more. But then they get close and they're like, oh, now I don't know if this is my person. It's a very weird thing that 5s have to deal with. But what it allowed me to do, once I got past all of how ugly that sounded and how difficult it sounded and how lonely it could make me feel, what I noticed was that it allowed me to to see purpose in the relationships that I have and take responsibility without things being my fault. And let me talk a little bit about what that means. So clients, my relationship with my father, which was challenging, I can look at them with purpose, like they were literally making me who I needed to be. The projections that people threw on me that could be very painful at times, if I don't make them personal, but I do look at them with an open mind to say, okay, well, what am I here to learn about this person? What am I here to learn about this type of interaction? What is this showing me about me and what I have to offer? And what is this showing me about that person? Because really what we're here to do as fives is we are here to trigger people. We are a mirror. We show people what they need to see. The problem is that they come to us wanting something specific. They want something and they get something else. People have to be in it for that. They have to be in that game, and they don't always know that they are. It's why if you hear me sell my services and you hear me talk about what I do for people, that's why this show is so important for me. I get very clear about what I can do for people and what I cannot. The five is the savior. People will look to you. They will project onto you that you can save them. And in the beginning, you will want to. Even now, sometimes I want to. But that's not it. That's codependence. That puts you into, you think you're saving them, but you really become the slave. Because it always feels like it'll never be enough. And you're always fishing them out of water. What you have to do is you have to give people hard truths. Help them rise. That's how you truly save them, is you help them save themselves. But not everybody will be in it for that game. Not everybody will want to really help themselves. And they may make you the villain in their story because they thought that you would be something that you never said you would be. But there was this invisible lure that said, this is what this person is for me. This is what they'll do. And then they get close, and then you give them the truth, and then they don't like it. So now you're to blame. If you take it personally, it is horrible. But if you can take it for what it is, if you can see it for what it is, and you can ask yourself, is there something here for me to learn from this relationship? What is it teaching me? Is there anything I do need to improve on? Because it doesn't make their experience or what they have to say invalid. And then you have to say, did I hold up my end of the bargain? Did I pull them in and use it to only serve myself? And this is where the practicality comes in. This is why what we're dealing with here, we're dealing with that 5-line projection, and we're dealing with that 1 on the unconscious side. The 1 on the unconscious side is the expert. You must develop an expertise if you are a 5-1. It will be the thing that you stand on. Otherwise, you are just a heretic, and they will call you out. And you will be wrong when they make you the villain in their story. If you don't have something actual, practically to add to their lives, if you haven't really dug out something that serves people, they will eat you alive, and they won't be wrong. And that might be part of your journey, is that you have to go through that in order to find what it is that you practically offer. In order to go deeper, it might be the thing that challenges you to go deeper. But like I said, it's not an easy journey. It is not easy. The 5 is here to have influence over strangers more so than the people that they are very close to. Also can be difficult. People get close, and once you are not of use anymore, they might be less close. Again, you have to recognize that that is kind of our role here. We are a fixer. We are practical in nature. We get things done. 5 is also known as the general. Well, we don't need a general in peacetime, do we? But we sure do value them when the war comes. So there's that. In peacetime, you might find that you have fewer friends. But when shit hits the fan, your phone might be ringing off the hook. This is something that if you take it personally, you think that people only care about me when they want something, when they need something. Ra always said, because Ra was a 5-1, he always said the 5 can feel like anytime someone is coming at them, it's just like, oh God, what do they want? And I can relate to that. There is that feeling because that's what people want from it. They want things from us. And it can be exhausting. But it is what we're here for. So boundaries are really important. But again, if I hate that people come to me when they need something, if I hate being the villain in their story and I just get mad and take it personally, if I look at every person who takes issue with me, or challenges me, or is a difficult relationship, or something that doesn't go totally according to plan, which by the way, most of them don't. If I'm doing that and I'm out of alignment with my profile, I'm not able to really step up to be the person I'm meant to be in their life. And if I'm not the person I'm meant to be in other people's lives, my purpose will not be fulfilled. And then I will always feel like there is potential in me that died before it was realized. And I think that that is one of the most painful things for any of us. I think that's why you're listening to this show right now, is because you're like, I have potential. I can feel it. I want to live it. I know human design has something for me. But if you're looking at it from like, I'm going to learn this new thing and then the answer is going to be the answer. No, that's probably not going to work out for you. You've probably learned a lot. And you've probably not applied a lot of it. And you're wondering what the next piece of information is that will make it all make sense. It isn't about it making sense. It's about you living it. Me knowing I have the projection field and actually living, holding the projections and not taking them personally, two very different things. My level of power and my ability to affect change in other people's lives comes directly from that. I have to be willing to take the shots. I have to be willing and able to stand there while the firing squad comes and to still say the truth to that person. To still be able to reflect back to them what I see that they cannot. Whether they choose to hear it is up to them. But I have to hold that. That is my purpose and my unique purpose. What I reflect back to people is going to be different than what you reflect back to people. It's different. My purpose is different. What I reflect back to people is what they need to let go of. What I reflect back to people is where they are holding themselves back. That happens to be my unique recipe. And more to it, but that's it in a nutshell. People come to me and that's why I always say to people like who feel connected to my work. And they're like, I just feel like I need to work with you. And I tell them what I do. And I tell them what I don't do. And I tell them how I work. And I tell them what they get. And then I say, but usually if people feel like there's something here, there usually is. And what they get is normally different than what they came in thinking they would get. But if they do the work and they come in with an open heart, they leave forever changed. And I can say that without ego. I say that because I'm willing to say the hard things. And I'm also willing to be the bad guy for a little bit. Because I say everything with love, and the people who work with me know that. This is what it means to be a 5-1. So some famous 5-1s, I'll give you the list. There's lots of them because remember, influence over strangers, lots of famous people, 5-1s. They've gotten really good at something and then they have the ability to broadcast to a big audience, to a big, broad strangers audience. And they can feel like these luminous figures because of that. So we have Taylor Swift, Anne Frank, huge, most people never met her, sadly, but huge effect on the entire world. Paul McCartney, Lady Gaga, Madonna. Then we have political figures like Nelson Mandela, Queen Elizabeth II. Then we have some not so nice ones, Adolf Hitler, Vladimir Putin. Highly influential profile, potential anyway. What we do with that potential, we can go very good or we could go very, very bad. It's all about what you choose because the 5 is about power. It knows that it holds a lot of power. It resonates with power. And people will listen. So with great power comes great responsibility. You can turn the herd as a 5-1. That is the potential. But where you turn them is your choice and your responsibility. So I hope you loved this. Hope you're loving the series. If you do, enter the contest, take a little screenshot, send it in to Instagram, tag me. I'm at Nicole Official. And if you would like to buy Content by Design and learn about blending your profile and your type with your content and with your business, all you have to do to get that is DM me the word content on Instagram, again, at Nicole Official, or go to nicolelano.com/content and we will get it to you there. Thanks so much and hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And remember, in order to have an unshakable business, you must first become an unshakable human. So thanks for letting us help you become unshakable with human design, everybody. We'll see you next time.